Hello everyone, Simon here. Welcome back to Peninsular City in Minecraft. We are going to work on the port, I think, today. So we need to move our stuff to the other side of the island. I don't know if I'm going to build a port today. I think we're going to start with we're going to start with building a ship. So we're going to put a ship in the water. I think that's what we want to do. So I want to put this stuff away as well. So we don't need those. I'm just thinking, like, looking at this, at the map. So I don't want that many more buildings, but what I'm thinking is maybe we just put more farms around the place. So like, maybe if we have like open space, we can have like parks and farms. Because there's, for example, behind the, or maybe I'm just kind of thinking too far ahead at the moment. So like, I guess around here doesn't. I mean, we can just put like little huts, maybe like huts and little farms in the less built areas of the city, right? So on the outskirts of the city, we might just do that. So like back here, like we can have like a little farmhouse here. So just tiny little things, nothing too special. But I kind of want to fill out a little bit the city. Not here though. This is not sure what we're doing here. What are we gonna do here? No idea. Anyway, it's not that important right now. Let me put some stuff away, and then we're going to move the chest over to the other side of the island, to where we're going to build the port. And we're going to build a ship to start off with. Let's see, where are we? Brown. Bucket, hoe, and I've got a lot of hoe. And bed is furniture. We're gonna use signs, probably. And seeds. Alright. And let me just also take stock of what materials I have available to me to build stuff. So we're looking at... Oh crap, I didn't take these back. We're looking at... Well, we've got a bit of stone. A lot of dark oak. Not much of the other. We've got a bit of stone. I think I have more stone in storage as well. So maybe we do that. And let's just see if I have more stone than that. I don't know how many ships we can fit in that harbor. I mean, the harbor isn't actually that big. Oh wait, well, at the resort, we were going to build a resort on the islands too. Maybe we don't do that anymore. Not sure if I still want to do that. I don't know. Doesn't seem that important. I might just cut it off, just finish the port, and then we're done. Because as I said, I'm kind of getting tired of this. Like, I'm kind of over it. So maybe we just do port, and then roads, and then done. And even the port might just be a ship, and not the warehouses. So I'm starting to think I should like cut back on the scope, and then just be done with it. We do have cobble. Let me take the cobble there. Alright, let's go put our materials down. We are cutting features. We're cutting features from this design, from the city. I mean, we have built a lot, so it's not like we haven't done anything. And like the things we're talking about, only the port. I guess we still have to do the bridges, but port, bridges, roads, like these things have the greatest impact, right? The other stuff is more just decorative stuff. It doesn't really matter to the city. So that's what I'm thinking, and why I'm thinking it's not really that important. All right, port and roads, and that's it. Port, roads, bridges, boundary. Even the boundary, probably not. Probably maybe put some fences up at the boundary, and that's about it. All right, we're cutting back. We're cutting back on the scope. All right, stone, 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 stone. Oh no, that really should be there. Stone, stone. Jungle, spruce, birch, acacia. Sign. And then the roads, I guess I want cobblestone. Cobble and stone brick roads. Seems to make sense. Port, roads, bridges. I guess bridges next. Alright, port, and then next is bridges. Because the bridges do affect how we're gonna do. Actually, here, if we take some of this stuff, then we can save a trip on the other end. What was I saying? Yeah, so the bridges have to be in place before the roads, because the roads will join the bridges with everything else, and so so the bridges have priority over the roads in that sense. So the bridges, by the bridges I mean also the gates. So there's like 3 bridges and 3 gates into the city. So it's really bridges and gates, and then roads last. The reason I'm cutting back, I mean, partly is because I'm getting a bit sick of this, because like I feel like I'm done, but also because it doesn't really add anything all that important to the build to do more of that. So that's why we are cutting features. We're not really cutting features, we're just cutting like extra stuff. And it is extra stuff, right? Because we don't really need to, like a resort. I mean, we already have like a budget motel, we have an inn, and then also to have a resort, it's basically just going to be like some wooden huts on the islands and some bridges. I mean, it might look interesting. It's not really critical. And the estate in the mountain, like it'll be like the farmhouse, but different. So it's like we're just kind of repeating ourselves now. And already, like we've already been repeating ourselves before, because like at this end of the city, we built like a second, like we had an inn on one side of the city, and now we have a hotel on the other side of the city, and so it's like the same thing. Like we're starting to do the same things over and over again, and so that's why I'm thinking there's not that much value in continuing. I mean, in a real city, of course, you build as many things as people need. So a real city would have like hundreds of thousands of houses, at least, like millions of houses. But all the houses are pretty much the same. It's like the same thing over and over again. But because you have millions of people and they all need houses, so you just build that many houses. Whereas in the city, like a proper landmark, like how many opera houses do you have per city? Like one opera house, right? And then like how many landmarks? Like how many towers? Your Eiffel Tower, the CN Tower, your towers like how many of those do you have? Like one per city. So the special stuff, like how many ports do you have? One, maybe two. If you have 3 ports in your city has a lot of ports. So the important stuff, you only have a few of anyway, right? And it's the same thing with what we're building here. Like the important stuff, we have pretty much one of each. And so then from that point onwards, everything else is just repeats and filling in space. And we don't want to just fill in space. We can fit 2 ships in here. The question is, do we want to, or just 1 ship? I feel like 1 ship should be enough. But also, what kind of ship do we want to make? Let me just go into Google image search. A sailing ship, which we want to pick one. What is a galley? A galleon? Schooner, bark, brig, barkentine, brigantine, sloop. Types of sailing ships. 3-mast, barkentine, 3-mast, carrack, caravel, clipper, cog, corvette, cutter, dhow, dinghy, frigate, like maybe a sailing frigate, a galleon, large, primarily square-rigged vessel of the 16th and 17th centuries. So a galleon is quite big. Ketch, longship, lugger. What kind of ship do we want? Ship of the line. It could be a caravel. So a caravel is what, for example, actually no, they're not. The Portuguese used to explore along the West African coast and into the Atlantic. Oh yeah, so yeah, Christopher Columbus used the caravel, which is it's a pretty tiny ship given that he traveled all the way across the Atlantic. A caravel is like an exploration ship. Lantine rig caravel. I think I want a caravel. Let me just check the other one. So frigate is bigger. 3 masts, square sails. A frigate is also good, but it's like a naval ship. A galleon is also rather large. Square sails. There are also square-rigged caravels. Alright, so let's go for a caravel. Which I think so let's say we start here and we just extend out, so the dock is gonna extend out like this. Let me just go 1 block wide. We don't need to do 2 blocks like this. So how far into the water do we go? And which side do we put it on? So if we do this, and then the boat is next to this, right? We go Up 1 and across? Up 2 and across? Does it sit this high? No, it doesn't quite sit. It doesn't sit quite that high above the water. It sits about this high in the water. And I say the ship itself starts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how big is the ship? How wide is the ship, first of all? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blocks wide? Sure, that's a pretty decent size for a ship. And then this will sit back. So the back of the boat, the stern, is back here. And we'll just put it back almost as far as we can go. I need more dirt. Alright, let me just go get more dirt. And then we can... It's gonna be a pretty big ship, which is cool. Let me get more dirt so I can plan this out properly. Alright, there's no dirt in there. And the ship is going to be planks. Pretty much just all planks, I think. Only one mast with a fixed square sail that could not overcome the navigational difficulties of southward oceanic exploration. Huh. So they're pretty flimsy ships, caravels. They're not very big. I'm gonna use dark oak on it, I think. We want that dark color. That's nice. Look at that farmhouse. Pretty cool. So the back of it's kind of rounded, kind of. Let me come out over here. Alright, and then we're gonna like round this off. Right, so there's the back of the boat. And of course it's gonna be higher up at the back. Maybe like 2 blocks higher up. And then the middle of the boat is like here. And then the front of the boat is probably like 1 block higher up. So let's go a bit more this way. Oh, this seems like a good distance. There, alright, and then we start coming in. And then we get to here. And this is going to be like 1 block above. So 2 blocks above, that's the back of the ship. Maybe like to there is 2 blocks above. And then the front of the ship to like there is 1 block above. If you can visualize this. And then we go... How far do we go? We go to there. Get to there. Sure. Right? Right. And let me put that there. So then we just need to figure out underneath, right? Let's see. The keel is pretty much a straight line down the middle. Maybe I should have chosen a single block, like an odd numbered block. Doesn't really matter. So the keel. Let me just extend that out a little bit more. Is it gonna float in the water? Yeah, this is too deep to sit. Let's go one more block below. And then probably not this one. And then we extend this back. Let me just start from the other end as well. So what does the back of the frigate look like? Hold on, let me just go to my Wikipedia page. It's kind of square at the back. Huh, interesting. So let me do that. Let me do that. And then we'll go in one. And we will go in one more. Like that. So the keel, if you imagine like both are there. And then we, so the side of the ship will do that. Is that right? Yeah, sure, alright, cool. So I think we can build the whole thing now. I think we've established the shape of it. Or at least like the hull, the shape of the hull. Let's go get our wood planks and start building this thing. Dark oak.